everyone, this is Music Tech Help Guy, and today I want to do a quick master on a rap track in Logic Pro 10. For this, we're only going to be using stock plugins in Logic, as well as one free third-party plugin. Alright, so I've already created a new Logic session with a stereo audio track, and I've drag and dropped my pre-mastered file in here. This is the recording, the mix that I've gotten from the engineer. It's got about 3 dB of headroom on it. First thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull the front end of the track slightly away from the beginning. I always like to have just a little bit of extra room right before the song kicks in. It's just a personal pet peeve of mine to have the track start right when the file begins. So for this, the plugins that we're going to use are first the test oscillator, believe it or not. I'm going to do this a little bit different today. We're going to generate pink noise in the test oscillator, and we're going to use that pink noise as a reference tone for our master. So the first thing I'm going to add is the test oscillator. You can find this under Utility Test Oscillator. We're going to add it in stereo. And when it first pops up, it'll just play a sine wave, so I'm just going to turn that off for now. After the test oscillator, we're going to add the match EQ, which you can find under EQ here. I did do a full tutorial on the match EQ a while back, so if you're not familiar with how to use it or what the match EQ does, go check out that previous tutorial. After the match EQ, I'm going to add a free plugin from a company called Fine Cut Bodies, and this is called PETITE Excite. It's essentially a 2-band, multi-band exciter. So we're going to use this for track excitation. Logic has an exciter plugin too, but it's only a single band. So this is nice because it gives us a low and a high band. I typically use, for work for clients, I typically use the Ozone multi-band exciter, but this will get you by. At least it separates the lows and the highs. After that, I'm going to add the just the compressor plugin. I'm actually not going to use the multi-band compressor. And the reason for that is we're going to get most of our frequencies under control with just the exciter and the match EQ. So in this case, the multi-band compression won't be necessary. So for our bus compression, we're going to use the vintage VCA circuit within the compressor. After the compressor, we're going to add the adaptive limiter under dynamics. You could just jump straight to the adaptive limiter too and skip the compressor altogether. I just like having a little bit of bus compression on my master just to sort of tame down the dynamics a little bit. And lastly, we're going to add the correlation meter, which is just going to essentially show us if we have any phase issues. And after that, I'll also add the loudness meter, which will show us our overall loudness. So I'll close that out for now. So let's just start with just the test oscillator and the match EQ. So let's bypass all this stuff. Let's go into the test oscillator. And in the test oscillator, we are going to generate pink noise. Now, the reason why you can sometimes use pink noise as a reference frequency for mastering is because pink noise is essentially equal energy per octave. So the higher you get, the more spaced out the octaves are, and the less energy you have. Whereas white noise is the same amount of energy across the entire frequency spectrum. That would be too bright for a recording, for a musical recording. So pink noise is sometimes used as a reference curve or a reference frequency for mastering. So let's turn on our match EQ. And in the match EQ, we're going to click on our current source here. That is just the track as is with no effects on it. Again, I have the test oscillator bypassed, so we're not hearing that. So let's just click learn and let's listen to a little bit of the front end of this track as is.
Come from the jungle, survive with the struggle. I mean what I say, I put that on my mother. You with it or not, we can't die in this gutter. Scraping the pot till I'm spraying in the muscle. Woo. Show you how to whip like this. I can show you how to get it like this. Goddamn, almost broke my wrist. See that, I done hurt my wrist. Everything I touch gon' go. I put the young homie on go. Show the homie how to get rich. But he got blind from the door. Always keep it cool like snow. Girl, I know she a fan. Cool cause I'm cool with the snow. Bet you she run up a band. Hiding that ish from a man. Look at the magic I do with the wrist. Keep it 100, I keep it a brick. Pistol on hip, it be watching my six. With it, I feel it's terrific. Shirt with the tie, know I handle my business. Dirt is still on me, we came out the trenches. Came up from nothing, we still gon' go get it. Do it, I do it, I do it for dough. No.
Cool. So we've learned the curve for the front of the song here. It's pretty much the same, similar frequency and similar dynamics throughout the entire song. By the way, the artist name is Shay LAMAI. I'll put all of his information in the description below if you want to go check him out and go check out his social media and whatnot. The problem with a lot of rap tracks, and not all, but a lot of them, is that they have a lot of fundamental low end bass. They have some energy around where the rapper is or the singers are, but not a whole lot of like mid-range excitation or body, and sometimes they lack some high end too. So I'm going to try to take this curve that's very like bassy, doesn't have a whole lot of like mid-range bass, has a little bit of mid-range and not a whole lot of highs, and we're going to sort of flatten this out and make it a little more consistent and also give it a bit more of a bite in the high end and also some more presence in the mid-range. And that's just the nature of this song. It's very simple. It's vocals, some ad-libs, some basic synths, and a beat, you know. Unless there's a lot of mid-range character, like in rock and roll, there's guitar there, you know, it's filling out the mid-range. You know, unless the song has some instrument that's in the mid-range that's filling it out, we just don't have that. And so again, here we have a track that's mostly fundamental low end, a beat, and the singer, the rapper. So I sort of want to excite the track and give this some more mid-range body and also give it some more high end while controlling the bass as well. Okay, so we've learned the current curve, current signature. We're going to click on the reference tab. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on my test oscillator here, and it's going to play back pink noise. And while that's playing, I'm going to click learn, and we're just going to learn the signature of the pink noise real quick. And that's that. That's all we really need the test oscillator for, so I can turn that off now. I can remove that plugin. And you can see that the signature of pink noise versus what the track is, you can see there's a lot more bass in the track, not as much sort of like mid-range energy, mid-low range energy, and more high-range energy here. So then essentially what the match EQ does is it takes your current curve, a reference curve, and creates an EQ signature that makes the current signal sound more like the reference signal, at least from a frequency standpoint. So I'm going to click on EQ curve and click match. And what it does is it creates an EQ signature that mimics the curve of the reference curve. It basically matches the current curve to the reference curve. So we end up with something like this.
Come from the jungle, survive with the struggle. I mean what I say, I put that on my mother. You with it or not, we can't die in this gutter. Scraping the pot till I'm spraining the muscle.
So without the match EQ and without that pink noise reference, we end up with something that is kind of muffled sounding, and this really brings out the high end. Now, it's almost bringing it out too much. So let's pull down the apply slider here a bit. Let's also fade the extremes, just like so. That's just fine. Let's A/B that.
Show you how to whip like this. I can show you how to get it like this. Goddamn, almost broke my wrist. See that? I'd hurt my wrist. Everything I touch gon' go. I put the young homie on go.
So I A/B'd it. It's got a little more high mid-range presence to it, although it is kind of pulling out too much of the low end. So I'm going to take the low extreme here and pull it out just so it's not cutting the lows so much. One other thing I want to do is, because of the subby 808 kick sound in there, I still want to reinforce that. So what I'm going to do is, with the match EQ, you can actually click in here and just create a band, and you can adjust that band. So somewhere in here around like 30 hertz, I'm going to pull up a band. And if you hold shift, you can adjust the Q. So let's make this a little bit wider. So the Q is the bandwidth. So just using your mouse and clicking up and down just controls the gain, but holding shift adjusts the Q. So I just still want a little bit of like a low end bump in there. So let's give that a listen.
Show the homie how to get rich, but he got blind from the door. Always keep it cool like snow. Girl, I know she a fan.
And I'm also going to go up, maybe in the mid-range here too, and give this a little bit more of a boost. Again, holding shift. And let's try to find like an octave above 30, so say around 60s. There we go.
Cool, cause I'm cool with the snow. Bet you she run up a band. Hiding that ish from a man. Look at the magic I do with the wrist. Keep it 100, I keep it a brick. Pistol on hip, it be watching my six. With it, I feel it's terrific. Shirt with the tie, know I handle my business. Dirt is still on me, we came out the trenches. Came up from nothing, we...
All right, so we've given it a little bit of a high-end, mid-range boost as well as a low-range boost. And we've also matched this to a pink noise reference curve. So we've got a good starting point now. The next plugin I want to pull up is the PETITE Excite plugin from Fine Cut Bodies. This is the only third-party plugin I'm using. It's a free multi-band or two-band harmonic exciter. Like I said before, Logic has an exciter in it, but it's not multi-band. So it's very simple. You've got a low and high frequency harmonic exciter. You can add noise floor if you wish. We're not going to do that. The CV button essentially rolls off the high end. If you find that the high frequency boost is too much, you can roll it off. The input signal just trims the input signal, and the output is added gain or reduced gain to the output signal. So I am going to pull the input signal down a little bit because that match EQ did add some additional loudness and additional volume to the overall track volume.
Come from the jungle, survive with the struggle. I mean what I say, I put that on my mother. You with it or not, we can't die in this gutter. Scraping the pot till I'm spraying in the muscle. Show you how to whip like this. I can show you how to get it like this. Got them, almost broke my wrist. See,
let's go over here somewhere.
Shirt with the tie, know I handle my business. Dirt is still on me, we came out the trenches. Came up from nothing, we still gon' go get it. Do it, I do it, I do it for dough. Know a young chicken, she always on go. Love to get high, the coca on her nose. That ain't for me, I be smoking the dope. Blunt after blunt, I just get in the zone. Water so cold, I be making it snow. Young chef with the pot and pans, I be whipping and cooking these flows. Everything I touch gon' go. Put the...
All right, so I pulled the input and output gain down a little bit, pulled the CV up a little bit just to roll off the high end, pulled up a touch of high frequency harmonic saturation, as well as a little bit on the low end, and it seems to be taking out a little bit of the boxiness in it, so that's good. All right, next up is the compressor. You could use the multi-band compressor here if you wanted to, but typically if I use multi-band exciters, then I try to stay away from multi-band compression, and likewise if I use a single band exciter, then I'll go and use a multi-band compressor. So, all right, so I'm using the vintage VCA because this is the closest thing to, say, like an SSL bus compressor. For mastering, you want your attack time to be pretty low. The release we can keep on auto, and we're going to blend this with the mix knob so we're not getting completely compressed, completely wet, or completely dry signal. I'm also going to turn off the auto gain. I'm going to set the makeup gain to 0. And let's see what we can do with this.
Young homie on go. Show the homie how to get rich. Never get blind from the door. Always keep it cool like snow. Smoking in bros with. Young bad bitch on go. All of my is lit. Everything I drop gon' go. Cop a new watch, let's go. Cop a new grill, let's go. Everything I touch gon' go.
Cool. So I pulled the threshold down to about 15. Ratio is 3-to-1, makeup gains at 0. The attack time's around 15 milliseconds. The release is around 50 milliseconds with the auto on. And I've got the mix at about 56% with the distortion on the soft distortion. One thing I'm hearing that I don't like is his voice is kind of getting cut out a little bit. Let me add back in 1K a little bit. Just a little bit of 1K. And a little bit more of 2K as well. And we'll also smooth this out a little bit more. There we go. Let's see what that sounds like.
Always keep it cool like snow. Smoking in bros with. Young bad bitch on go. Just trying to get rich. Everything I drop gon' go. Put the young homie on go. Everything we bag when it's sold. Only thing we throw is get rich. Only thing I felt was the pain. No, I used to trap out the whip.
Yeah, let's pull maybe the high frequency exciting down just a touch. Let's give that a shot.
Shirt with the tie, know I handle my business. Dirt is still on me. We came out the trenches, came up from nothing. We still gonna go get it.
All right, cool. Let's turn on the adaptive limiter. This is where we're going to get all of our volume from. While we have this up, let's also pull up our correlation meter to make sure that we don't have any phase issues. Pull up the loudness meter. Let's see where we stand. So I'll just hit start on that and play a bit of this from where the song kicks in.
Come from the jungle, survive with the struggle. I mean what I say, I put that on my mother. You with it or not, we can't die in this gutter. Scraping the pot till I'm spraying in the muscle. Woo. Show you how to whip like this.
So we're already at like -12 integrated loudness, as most of you guys already know from my previous mastering videos. Typical competitive loudness nowadays for most records is about -10. So we're going to pull our gain up a bit. I am going to put the true peak detection on. But what that does is sometimes it basically doesn't allow your clips to be truncated toward the top end of the reduction. So I'm going to pull the out ceiling down to about -0.3, which will keep the overall track from clipping. DC offset is essentially keeps, if you think of like your waveform as like an electrical signal, it keeps the signal centered from like an electrical standpoint. So if you have like a track that's a little bit off kilter, that's what this does. It compensates for that. So you won't really hear much of a difference, but sometimes you can get just a little bit more volume out of it by keeping that on. And we're just going to pull the gain up until we see this hit about -10.
I can show you how to get it like this. Goddamn, almost broke my wrist. See that? I done hurt my wrist. Everything I touch gon' go. I put the young homie on go. Show the homie how to get rich. But he got blind from the door. Always keep it cool like snow. Girl, I know she a fan. Cool cause I'm cool with the snow. Bet you she run up a band. Hiding that ish from a man. Look at the magic I do with the wrist. Keep it 100, I keep it a brick. Pistol on hip, it be watching my six. With it, I feel it's terrific. Shirt with the tie, no.
All right, so we're pretty close. So you can see what I'm doing is I'm pulling up the gain a little bit, pulling it down, making small adjustments, and then hitting reset because you have to reset the meter to get a correct loudness reading, and it takes a few seconds to get a correct loudness reading. Let me pull this up just a touch more.
I handle my business, dirt is still on me. We came out the trenches, came up from nothing. We still gon' go get it. Do it, I do it, I do it for dough. No a young chicken, she always on go. Love that.
Cool, so we're pretty much right around -10. One other optional thing we could do is if we feel like the song needs like some stereo spread to it, we could, before the adaptive limiter, we can go under imaging and add the stereo spread plugin to sort of spread out the high frequencies a little bit, high and mid frequencies. I'm more of a fan of multi-band spreaders. I use the one in Isotope Ozone quite a bit. If we're just using stock Logic plugins, this is basically what we have. I like to use the light, low frequency, and high frequency spread. And then what I'll do is I'll sort of push it more toward just the top range. And I'll pull the order up to essentially create more bands. And then I'll pull the intensity down a little bit just so it's not so much. Let's give that a listen.
With the snow, bet you she run up a band. Hiding that ish from a man. Look at the magic I do with the wrist. Keep it 100, I keep it a brick. Pistol on hip, it be watching my six. With it, I feel it's terrific. Shirt with the tie, know I handle my business. Dirt is still on me. We came out the trenches, came up from nothing. We still gon' go get it. Do it, I do it, I do it for dough. No a young chicken, she always on go. Love to get high, the coca on her nose. That ain't for me, I be smoking the dope. Blunt after blunt, I just get in the zone. Water so cold, I be making it snow. Young chef with the pot and pans, I be whipping and cooking these flows. Everything I touch gon' go. Put the young homie on go.
Yeah, I decided not to use like an inverted upper frequency intensity, and I decided to just kind of pull it down a little bit to get maybe some of the mid-range in there too. You can see we have no problems with phase. As long as this is above 0, we're fine. Basically, the correlation meter shows you the amount of phase between the left and the right channels, And when this drops below 0, it means you're starting to get very noticeable phase cancellation. But since there's not a whole lot of, stereo effects in this song to begin with, the correlation, the phase correlation isn't much of an issue here. All right, so let's just go ahead and check the loudness meter one more time to make sure that we're still sitting at around -10 with the stereo spread in there. And then we'll give it a listen, and then we'll bounce it out.
Show the homie how to get rich. Never get blind from the door. Always keep it cool like snow. Smoking in bros with. Young bad bitch on go.
Cool. So let's listen to this before, and we'll listen to it after. So here's I'm gonna go ahead and play the intro, and then play maybe about 15 seconds of the beginning of the song with nothing on, and then I'll do it with everything kicked in.
Come from the jungle, survive with the struggle. I mean what I say, I put that on my mother. You with it or not, we can't die in this gutter. Scraping the pot till I'm spraying in the muscle. Woo.
So that's the before. Here's the after.
Come from the jungle, survive with the struggle. I mean what I say, I put that on my mother. You with it or not, we can't die in this gutter. Scraping the pot till I'm spraying in the muscle. Woo. Show you how to whip like this. I can show you how to get it like this. Goddamn, almost broke my wrist. See that, I done hurt my wrist. Everything I touch gon' go. I put the young homie on go. Show the homie how to get rich. But he got blind from the door. Always keep it cool like snow. Girl, I know she a fan. Cool cause I'm cool with the snow. Bet you she run up a band. Hiding that ish from a man. Look at the magic I do with the wrist. Keep it 100, I keep it a brick. Pistol on hip, it be watching my six. With it, I feel.
Cool, I just tamed down the high end just a little bit. It's a little too bright for my taste. Let's go to the end here. I think the song just more or less, the beat just fades out. Yeah, his fade out actually kind of starts a little, or ends a little too soon. You can kind of hear it drop off there. So let's take our master fader. So let's just open up our mixer here. Let's take our master fader, right click and say create track. You can also hit Command T, or Control T rather. And what we're gonna do is just pull up automation on the master. We're gonna start our fade a little bit sooner. And I don't want to go way up in here because that's where his fade already starts, but we're just going to pull this down all the way. And we'll use our automation curve tool and make this more of like an exponential fade. Let's give this a listen. Yeah, I think it could start a little sooner. Let's give that a listen. Now, what I was doing there at the very end is counting in my head. What I typically do, it's not very scientific, but at the very end of the song where the song more or less fades out or I don't hear anything anymore, I count to 3. I just go 1, 2, 3. And I try to get basically a 3 count in at the end of every single song. So you can't really hear much of anything around here. 1, 2, 3. And then I stop it. So that's going to be where my bounce ends. I just like to give the song a little bit of space at the end. And then what we'll do is we'll pull this all the way out to the front and create a bounce range for our master. And again, remember at the very beginning, I intentionally put just a little bit of space before the song kicks in. All right, so let's go ahead and bounce this out. Hit Command B to bounce. Typically, when I give songs to clients, I give them a fully uncompressed PCM WAV file as well as a very high quality MP3. So we can check both of those. I'm going to click on PCM, go with WAV for my format. I'm going to go CD quality, which is 16-bit, 44.1. I believe this file was recorded at 24-bit, so we do need to dither to come down to 16-bit. I typically just use the Power 1 dithering option. Power stands for psychoacoustically optimized word length reduction. Essentially what dithering does is it adds a very low level noise to the signal to optimize the bit depth reduction from 24-bit down to 16-bit. And a lot of people ask, well, why don't you just bounce at 24-bit and forget about the dithering? Well, that's because a lot of online digital distribution platforms don't accept 24-bit files still. A lot of them still like 16-bit files. So we dither down to essentially CD quality. We're going to keep the file format, file type interleaved. We're going to turn the mode on offline and turn the normalization to off. For the MP3 file, I'm going to set the bit rate to 320 kbps, which is essentially like a lossless MP3 file. All right, so now we're just going to hit OK. And typically what this does is it just puts this right in the bounces folder, right within your Logic session. So the name of this song is Let's Go. So let's say Shay, LAMAI, Let's Go, mastered. And then hit bounce. And it'll bounce out your whole track for you. All right, so that's just a quick, what I like to call the quick and dirty mastering method. Using pink noise or some other reference can give you a good starting point. We used a free exciter to sort of bring out the low end and high end a little bit. And we also used the compression and limiting to get it up to a competitive loudness level. So I'll play the whole track at the very end for you to listen to. Again, go check out Shay LAMAI. I'll put all of his social media and all of his information in the video description below. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching.
Come from the jungle, survive with the struggle. I mean what I say, I put that on my mother. You with it or not, we can't die in this gutter. Scraping the pot till I'm spraying in the muscle. Show you how to whip like this. I can show you how to get it like this. Goddamn, almost broke my wrist. See that, I done hurt my wrist. Everything I touch gon' go. I put the young homie on go. Show the homie how to get rich. But he got blind from the door. Always keep it cool like snow. Girl, I know she a fan. Cool cause I'm cool with the snow. Bet you she run up a band. Hiding that ish from a man. Look at the magic I do with the wrist. Keep it 100, I keep it a brick. Pistol on hip, it be watching my six. With it, I feel it's terrific. Shirt with the tie, know I handle my business. Dirt is still on me, we came out the trenches. Came up from nothing, we still gon' go get it. Do it, I do it, I do it for dough. Know a young chicken, she always on go. Love to get high, the coca on her nose. That ain't for me, I be smoking the dope. Blunt after blunt, I just get in the zone. Water so cold, I be making it snow. Young chef with the pot and pans, I be whipping and cooking these flows. Everything I touch gon' go. Put the young homie on go. Show the homie how to get rich. Never get blind from the door. Always keep it cool like snow. Smoking in bros, they whip. Young bad bitch on go. All of my is lit. Everything I drop gon' go. Cop a new watch, let's go. Cop a new grill, let's go. Everything I touch gon' go. Always keep it cool like snow. Smoking in bros, they whip. Young bad bitch on go. Niggas just tryna get rich. Everything I drop gon' go. Put the young homie on go. Everything we bag when it's sold. Only thing we thought was get rich. Only thing I felt was the pain. No, I used to trap out the whip. Cause I don't do rats in the trap. Broke boy, that don't make sense. Spinning these racks, will I get it from rap? Question I asked till my head is detached. Put your hand out and then scratching my back. Truth is, I don't do friends right now. I'm only with Bay right now. I'm 50 racks down, can't spend right now. In too deep for me to quit right now. So I'm trying to make a hit to pay the rent right now. So everything I touch gon' go. I put the young homies on go. Show the homies how to get rich. Never get blind from the door. Always keep it cool like snow. Smoking in bros, they whip. gon' go. Cop a new watch, let's go. Cop a new chain, let's go. Everything I drop gon' go. Always keep it cool like snow. Smoking them bros they with. Young bad bitch on go. I'ma try and get rich.
Everything I just gon' go. Couple new watch, let's go. Couple new chain, let's go.